On July 21, 1964, the Warren Commission arrived in New Orleans. Their mission was to gather testimony regarding the assassination of President John F. Kennedy, an investigation that had the entire country's attention. In the early hours of that same morning, smoke began drifting from the apartment of Dr. Mary Sherman, a prominent cancer researcher. When the police arrived, they initially processed the scene as a robbery or a sexual assault that had escalated into a homicide. However, there was no sign of a forced entry. The apartment's burglar alarm had been manually switched off, and a box filled with valuable jewelry sat undisturbed in plain sight. Bypassed the security system, ignored the valuable items, and left no evidence of struggle. Investigators claimed the killer set a fire to destroy evidence of the crime, but the fire was so small it failed to ignite the curtains and caused no structural damage to the bedroom. Despite the small size of the fire, the right side of Dr. Sherman's body was carbonized. Her entire right arm and a significant portion of her torso were simply gone, completely vaporized down to the internal organs. This chart compares the heat from a smoldering mattress fire against the intensity needed to incinerate human remains. In a professional crematorium, it takes hours of sustained heat at 2,000 degrees to destroy bone. A low-temperature apartment fire cannot disintegrate a rib cage. The autopsy revealed a fatal stab wound to the heart, but also noted several other wounds to the liver and genitals. Crucially, these secondary cuts were made post-mortem, slicing directly through the unburned clothing that had been piled on top of her body after she was already dead. The scene presented a massive physical contradiction: a body destroyed by extreme, localized heat, surrounded by a room that never got hot enough to burn the curtains. Dr. Mary Sherman was a respected bone specialist and an associate professor who ran a cancer laboratory at an elite clinic. Her research papers were standard medical citations for decades, but her work extended beyond the university. She was linked to David Ferrie, a pilot for the New Orleans Mafia and an operative deeply involved in clandestine anti-Castro missions. Within an underground laboratory in New Orleans, Ferrie and Sherman were using radiation to mutate cancer-causing monkey viruses. The project sought to develop a galloping cancer, a biological weapon designed for a single purpose: the assassination of Cuban leader Fidel Castro. The operation brought together high-level medical research and the violent world of covert intelligence. Laboratory personnel from this project identified a third member of this bioweapons team: Lee Harvey Oswald. In intelligence terms, Oswald's public pro-Castro activism in New Orleans was a legend, a fabricated background story created to give an operative a believable identity. Oswald personally distributed materials like this leaflet to build his profile as a communist sympathizer. This visibility was designed to help him infiltrate Cuba, where he was to deliver the bioweapon to doctors who would use it against Castro. Far from being a lone actor, Oswald was operating as a functional asset within a multi-agency intelligence project alongside Ferrie and Sherman. The specialized radiation research conducted by this team provides the only scientific explanation for the vaporization of Dr. Sherman's right arm. Forensic analysis indicated that the destruction of her torso required an intensely focused beam of high-voltage electricity, the kind of output not found in a residential apartment. The device used in their secret lab was a linear particle accelerator. This high-power machine uses electromagnetic fields to propel subatomic particles at nearly the speed of light, producing the exact type of localized high-energy radiation that decimated her body. Researchers conclude that Dr. Sherman died instantly from a massive discharge while working with the accelerator in the lab. With the Warren Commission arriving that same day, an investigation into a secret bioweapons lab would have been an intelligence disaster. The laboratory could not be discovered. Her body was moved to her apartment, where the staged fire and post-mortem stabbing were used to mimic a common street crime. This gruesome tableau was the price of keeping the New Orleans bioweapons project and its ties to Lee Harvey Oswald buried.